Hello and welcome to Wild Logix. I am Glow, and I was just writing a little message today. We are all connected. We are strangers in a strange land. We are light in a wild world. We are all looking for our tribe. Getting aligned to who we are will help with that. Freedom and community versus control and scarcity. We want to flip that switch. And at the bottom of the deck, I have Six of Pentacles energy, this idea of the gift economy. We gain by giving, and this isn't in a martyrdom sense. The world is rich in abundance, but how we walk with this abundance really matters. And despite having more material wealth than ever before, we also have more extreme poverty and scarcity as well. And as much as that isn't in alignment with the truth, it is something that needs to be corrected. If we get into this new mindset, that's what matters, is starting to find this new way of being. And it starts with ourselves. This type of generosity, it starts with ourselves. And it starts with having better boundaries with how we treat ourselves and what we agree to. It's no longer going into the slog. It's about having this inner mastery, turning on our inner master, where we know ourselves so well and we are so calm that we can face the lion. We can massage the head of a lion without any issues. We can face the tower. When things come undone, it doesn't undo us. It makes us stronger. It gives us a higher dedication to our faith. It helps us know who we are. It helps us plan, and it helps us let go of anxieties. Each thing that we come upon is an opportunity to see where we're binding ourselves up, and it's time to let that go and to come into this real union with ourselves, this love and abundance within that is grounded in the ways of the earth and not through these external factors. These two lovers, they don't care what anyone else thinks, but everyone's looking at them being like, oh, okay. And the snake's a little upset and the cherub's like, oh, wow, I didn't cool, but I didn't expect that. The sun's, I don't know what that look is that the sun has. But, our calling is not meant to be understood necessarily by anyone else. It's for us to follow our hearts and to hold on to what is necessary. Sometimes we need to rip and grip. As the energy is moving quickly, we have to learn to do things differently, and that will bring in our deep, nurturing abundance, giving and receiving. This generosity that we saw here at the beginning of the Six of Pentacles is in the Queen of Pentacles. So let's draw some cards. What I'm going to do for you today is show you a wheel of energy that is going to help you come into this alignment. And I'm creating these messages daily to start to bring in this way of seeing new ways to pattern your thoughts and seeing the world, to unhook yourself, to heal yourself, to align and to find the tribe. Because there's a lot of judgments and harm that has been brought into this world that's unnecessary. There's a lot of false stories, and this is a chance for you to hear a new story and pattern. And this pattern that I'm going to share with you, it's coming from some knowledge and training in energy medicine that I've done. I'm also someone who has spent time in practical realms, creating $1 million budgets, things like that, like adjusting the flow, redirecting things so that they work. So what I want to do here on this channel is help people understand how to realign themselves so things can work so you can be in harmony with yourself and others. Now, it's true, not all situations are going to embrace us. And so here we see the Seven of Wands. That is our protective energy. We're protecting what is vital. And that is completely reasonable to do. We do not have to just let whatever is out there come in. There is a need to know what is good for us and what is not good for us. But at the same time, we don't need to judge the world. We also have the Empress coming in. This is abundance, creativity, nature, flow. So what this is telling me is that for us to really be embodied in this sacred feminine, and it's not a gendered thing, this receptive energy, we need to protect ourselves. We need to no longer be dragged around into places that takes us out of our natural flow. Now, this is a step-by-step basis. You know, for each person, they're going to find their own way through it. But with the creativity of this Empress energy that is coming in and overlaying, we can very easily use that creativity to help us be protective in ways that are not going to necessarily disrupt our situation unnecessarily. So what I'm getting is actually, rather than this being an overlay, this is like the two dimensions of self of where you're at now. You are in the Seven of Wands, you're protective, and that is to embody the Empress. So that's that duality of self. And in the world, here comes justice, and justice was actually in reverse. So this is a reversal of past karma. Things that have been done that you need to protect yourself from are being remedied now. Justice that was not done in the past is being remedied and can be remedied. But part of this is when we've been tread upon, we can start to feel like a doormat. We start to have that shrinking energy where we no longer know what is right and wrong, or we don't know how to handle ourselves. But it doesn't mean that the truth is not the truth. And trust me, there have been some pretty dire circumstances where I know what is just, and I see everything around me not doing that and being unwell, but just really holding to that higher truth. No one around me believing that what is right will come through, or thinking that it's for some reason just going to happen without effort. It did take effort, because I could see that there was a need to hold my ground, because the people that I was in that situation with were used to not respecting boundaries, not respecting justice. So there was a need to bring justice in, but also let it work its way through. In the mental emotional realm, we have the Hanged Man. And this is really important in this map I'm getting, because there's a need to pause and look at things from a new angle. Because of the reversal of justice that is now being corrected, we need time to actually see that it's working its way out, to see that that has always been there. We have the Hierophant, and this is tradition, particularly spiritual tradition and commitment. There is a new story of truth coming through, and we need to make space for this story in ourselves, and this is why we are pausing. Oh, and here we have some cards that came out at the beginning that are the energy that is supporting us. We have the Queen of Swords, creating boundaries and clarity, and the Nine of Wands, the end of a long journey. So with this clarity that is coming in, we can actually rest because justice will be served. So I'm just going to turn this around because that is what I've been asked to do now. What was out of alignment has been put into correctness. And there was a purpose in this journey that you were on, because it has built a level of strength and understanding in you about how these systems work. It could happen to anyone. There is nothing wrong with you at all. The injustices, they're built in. It's a necessary consequence of systems that don't actually care about the individual. So your reverse karma has nothing to do with you. But it has brought in the star energy, the spark of hustle. So healing through doing is what you had to do for a long time to get this justice. But now it is time to pause. It's time to pause and get something new, to really tap into your intuition. Yeah. To tap into your intuition. I'm getting some Hermit energy and more Empress energy coming in here as well. A card with the number 39 came in, but it's not really time to market your magic. Because it's like, this does not feel correct. But what it was the 3 and the 9. The Empress and the Hermit. So taking that time out to go within and find your Empress. Here we have Creator Air. Really working with how your mind functions. Creating a new thought pattern. Because the thing is when you've faced significant injustices, you are going to need to repattern yourself. And this is the Sun card, welcome the divine masculine. So we have the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And that, when you have the yin and the yang working together, that is truth and justice, right? Because there is the mystery and the knowing. It's a balanced flow of energy of doing and receiving. But when we face injustice, it creates a complete chaos within our lives, within our spirits, that we are in this overdrive hustle. And so it's interesting that the Star card is the spark of hustle here, because there's a little bit of a contradiction for me in the way that is, because the Star is about like healing, it's about a gift, and it doesn't really require hustle. And in fact, I am not really a fan of hustle culture. So this is to me more of this like divine gift that is given. It's funny because, as much as I really love the Sacred Creators deck in many ways, there are a few cards that I find don't fully represent the energy, and they're coming out today. And I'm trying to think of what the message is here. I think as things evolve, sometimes our 3D world, our concrete world, even our cards might not completely keep up with the energy of what we're doing. And what I'm being told is like there are some things that need to be altered and transformed to be in alignment, much like us, right? So I think there might be some cards that need adaptation to work with the energy here. So unseen potential and hesitation is the air. And that really lines up very well with the pause of the Hangman. So it reinforcing that pause. And I think for some of us, that pause might really feel like a gamble, because if we take a moment to realign, to get grounded, what might we lose? Yeah. What might we lose? Yeah. And here's another card representing those fears. So there's a lot of fears coming out. The forgotten, missed opportunities, fear of failure, right? So that fear that comes when we have to work so hard for justice, it can really affect us. And the message is that you are protected, that you are able to shift this. You have that 7 of Wands. You're able to protect yourself now. You're able to rise above the past and be more in flow and nurturing. The Queen of Swords here is also here to remind you that there is this energy, these universal energies of correct boundaries. You don't have to work so hard. That time has ended. And you're entering a productive energy of, the sun, clarity, productivity, creation. And so as we work this wheel of energy, it goes in both directions. The energetic creates the story, creates the mental and emotional, creates the physical, and vice versa, right? We're observing the physical world. It creates our mind and emotion. That develops our stories of who we are. And that feeds into the energy, how we're tapping into the universal energies. So we really want to be careful, not the right word, aware of what state we're in, so that we can work with what's within us. So I'm getting to is like when we've experienced a lot of hardship, we'll constantly look for these like quick little fixes, these quick little wins, these little boosts, because we're afraid to really change and grow on one level. But we desperately want to change and grow. Right now I see a spider building its web in my window. And that just to me symbolizes this trust in what is within you. Okay, so here we see the hawk, which is vision. I'm going to bring in a few cards from the Animal Spirit Guidebook to help solidify this energy further, to give us some guidance on how to work this, some practical tips, if you will. Okay. And then we have the vulture and the dolphin. So the dolphin energy is what we want to embody now. What we have within us, but has been something like somewhat dampened because of what we've been through. Let's take a look at the hawk first. Watchful, all-seeing, messenger of divinity. The sharp eyes of the hawk watch our every move. This keen-eyed bird has the ability to see every little detail, as well as the bigger picture. When this card appears, fate has its eyes on you, and the winds are shifting. It is said that the hawk carries news upon its wings, and is sent from divinity itself to deliver it. The message should not be taken lightly. Although it may be seen small or insignificant, it will eventually redirect your course. When in balance, sees clearly, intuitive. When out of balance, sees too much, suspicious. To bring into balance, a perspective shift. So this is exactly lining up to what we're talking about here. This need to take the hangman to shift. Right? And how does one do that? I think the vulture is going to really give us some insights here. And the vulture might seem a little scary to those of you that are new to energy work, but it's really about like mulching energy. In the Four Winds tradition that I learned, the jaguar would mulch and transform energy. We would be ready to let go. And the vulture holds a similar energy here. Guardian and purifier, essential for rebalance. And what I'm getting to is the vulture, because it's an air card, it's really repatterning our thoughts and feelings. So when we've been denied truth and justice, it will create a mindset, a set of burdens that really need to be healed and transformed, because it can set our entire life off course, which it's the truth is you have been your sovereignty has been violated. That's the truth on a certain level, maybe not on the deepest spiritual level, because I think ultimately people can't touch that, but they can put an incredible amount of pressure on you and definitely go out of alignment of what's okay, what's reasonable, what's safe, what's legal. And the laws are not even often great, right? There's so many, today, right? We can all see it. We can all see how bonkers that is, and it affects people constantly. And as unfair as it is, for us to have a decent sense of self, we have to address the trauma. And the world might not make that easy for us. So the vulture is the guardian and purifier, essential for rebalance. The vulture is perhaps the most misunderstood creature of all. The intriguing bird balances our ecosystem and prevents the spread of disease. It does dirty work that no one else wants to do and cleans up our messes. The vulture appears when there is a situation that needs to be purified or brought back into balance. Remember, the vulture is greatly undervalued. What you thought was a mistake or tragedy is a blessing in disguise. And that blessing often can't be seen until later, until we've grown into who we can be. Because again, these systems are not just to individuals. And if you are someone who has been denied that, it's hard. It's a hard road. But you are not alone. Give yourself as much compassion as you can to allow openings for people to support you, because the trick is everyone is being churned out through these systems, and the help you receive might be quite imperfect. But if you look at it on an energetic level, that is something that these systems can't control. That the energetic area is the easiest one for us to start to shift. The second easiest is then we can start telling a new story. Once we shift our energy, we can start telling a new story. We can start having new thoughts and emotions, and then our physical reality can change. And this sounds very magical perhaps to some people, but is absolutely the way that things work. I have changed systems within my own personal life, at work, in all sorts of spaces, because I embody a new energy, start to create a new story, think and feel differently about it, and then the environment changes. It's because this is just how life works. It's not even that magical, but if you see this, you can start to do it. And it's hard when we've been wounded and harmed. Trust me, that is where it gets really, really dicey. I've been low for long periods because it's hard to find the way out. And that's why I wanted to create this channel, is to give people a sense of that there is this greater justice, that there are people out there that, like, maybe, I mean, I'm not the kind of person that could, solve people's problems with a bunch of cash. But ultimately, money isn't the solution anyway, because people that want to work the systems in that way are always going to be really good at winning. I don't know. It's a little bit of a rant, but I just want you to know that I am here with you in spirit. And for those of you that understand what that means, I know you'll get it. Okay. So put justice back, because that's what we need right now, don't we? Okay. So when in balance, the vulture clarifies and reveals wisdom. When out of balance, it's dramatic and aggressive. To bring into balance, clean your space and sage. And so then we have the dolphin. Innately intelligent, healer, light, blessings. The gift of the dolphin are beyond that of our human minds. The gifts of the dolphin are beyond what our human minds can grasp. Dolphin personalities are often drawn to the healing arts, as they are sensitive to the subtle and enjoy working on the level of spirit. It's easy for dolphin types to underestimate the impact they make in the world. These creatures play such an important role on the wheel of karma that coming into contact with the dolphin type will change the entire course of your day. So I'm talking about, clear that energy, start to shift with that true energy of who you are, and thus your life. This card can also indicate a profound blessing is on the way. When in balance, active healer, strong spiritual practice. When out of balance, underestimates own power, which it's reasonable that has happened. Give yourself grace for that. Bring into balance like-minded spirits. And for me, YouTube has been this absolute gift of like-minded spirits, because I've actually been in a lot of healing communities, really powerful intensives. And I went through a whole, multi-week program that, lasted over years with groups of people, made a lot of friends, traveled to Apua Sungate, all of that. It was beautiful. But then you, like, after each of these things, you're ripped back into your world. And I had friends and connections there. But the thing is like, as I shifted, there were other things around me shifting that I could tell were on a deep level, were no longer resonant. And I was even a part of a spiritual community that I visited regularly, but that had its own trickiness. The beauty of YouTube is you can spend time with like-minded spirits on here, but dip in and dip out, and also see many people. So you're not going to be drawn in to any group, and the potential negative patterning of the group dynamics, not because anyone in that group is bad, but because the world right now is out of balance, and groups will mirror that. So there's a real freedom here on YouTube. There's so many incredible creators out there, so much wisdom to tap into, to jump around on. I have a variety of people that I tap into that I will then, sometimes rotate, because sometimes I need to pull back from a particular thing. And, because it's a space of a lot of freedom to explore, no one's going to be like, well, where have you been? Or like, why, so it's okay to move through these spaces freely, to have new perspectives. There's so many perspectives available on this platform. So, but, obviously use this space mindfully, which I know you will. And give yourself time to digest. One of the things that I want to start to do is give people some insight on how I used tarot to help heal myself. If that interests you, post it in the comments. I'm very curious, like, how are you? What brings you here? What kind of support are you looking for? What kind of insights? What are you working on right now? What's going on, my friends? Say hi, drop an emoji, ask a question, share your story, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm here for it. Hit that like button, subscribe. But this message today is, I feel like, very clear. Although it has a level of complexity to it, we are all connected. Freedom and community versus control and scarcity. And we're all looking for our tribe, right? For people that will be aligned in the truth and justice and sovereignty of the world. We want to find our dolphins. Right? We are all looking for that tribe. This is the path for it. So part of it is like facing those past injustices and letting them go, which this definitely is a message for me as well. So lovely, so grateful for your presence and your participation. And I love you. And until next time, be well.